This is Danny with QuadLugs, and we're going to do the computer setup on the CC3D board that we installed into the 250 Mini Plus Tri. We're in LibrePilot, I guess that's how you pronounce it, and it's the, I guess, replacement or what this OpenPilot is going by now, or it's replacing the OpenPilot. That's probably the best way to say it. Anyway, let's get started. We're going to plug in the CC3D into the computer, and we're going to go to vehicle setup. We'll see it connecting here, and now we'll go to vehicle setup, and we'll hit next. This is a good time to take a look at this right here. Is make sure the props are off. Rule of mine is that before a battery gets plugged into anything, whether it's a quad, tri, or a plane, whatever it is that I have to do with, anything to do with, before a battery gets plugged in and it's being worked on or it's indoors, I take the props off. The props go on when it's ready to fly. So, for me, one accident and it's bad. So props come off. We're going to go ahead and upgrade. I usually set the quad or the tri, and this is the tri. I set it level and keep it there the whole time. I don't try to move it at all. And I have it to where it's facing away from me. So the swivel is facing me. The front of the tri is facing away from me. So I'm looking at the back of the tri. Okay, it says it's done. Go ahead and go to next. And this is gonna, here we can check and make sure this is indeed the board that we have. Or not just like it, like the picture, but it's type. We're using a satellite, Spectrum satellite receiver. And if you watch the build of the electronics install on this that we just did, you saw this get installed. Right now I have the transmitter sitting here, but it's turned off. The battery is not plugged in. It's only it's only plugged via the USB into the computer. And of course we want the multi-rotor. We'll hit next. And we want the tri. There we go. And this is the way we if you watch the electronics video, motor number 1, 2, 3, counterclockwise, clockwise, counter, and that's the way we install them. We're going to go with a rapid ESC. Digital servo, and here you can get your wiring diagram, and that's how we did it. Really easy install, and here it gives you a recap of what you've picked out so far. So take your time and read all of it, and if you're like me, you may have to read it twice, but take your time and do it. This is the fun part. It's all the fun part, but I like to kind of take my time on building and doing the setup. It's part of the hobby, and I really enjoy it. Next. Okay, here we're going to check these, read these as you check them off to make sure that you're doing exactly what they're saying to do. Now, I have the battery plug in my hand and the battery here, and we're going to hit start. We'll hear the tone, and then we're going to go ahead and hit stop after we hear it. So just as it says to do, start, and we want to connect the battery, and we hit stop. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and unplug it. Okay, we'll hit next. And again, take a look at this. It should be off. And now we're going to plug it back in, and we're going to, in this right here, we're going to press start, and we're going to, and you can read what it says. I normally go a little bit higher than just barely turning. And you can check this is motor number 1 that is indeed turning, and it's indeed turning in the right direction. And then we do the same thing with 2 and then 3. We hit start. And there we go. And we're checking it as we go. If something's reversed, then you can, stop at this point and correct it. And we'll hit stop. And we'll go over to next. Now here we're going to set the servo and back, the limits on it. Okay, close. And we're going to start. Okay, and what I normally do is run it all the way, and then I'm going to pull it back till it moves a little bit. It's moved the swivel, the servo has moved the swivel just a little bit, and I'm going to stop there. Then I'm going to do the same thing here. Go all the way, and then I'll move it back just a little bit until the servo moves the swivel just a little bit, and then I'm going to stop. Then we'll click the center, and we'll get pretty level, and there we go, done. And we'll hit stop. Okay, generic tricopter works fantastic with this one, and I tell you, you're going to love how this thing flies after we finish this here. It's incredible. It's a really good flying tri. RT, I guess, is really what it is. Next. And then we're going to hit save. And I get to take a drink of coffee. Okay, now we're going to go to the transmitter setup. Now, before we get started with this, we need to go ahead and bind the satellite. So we're going to unplug the battery, and we're going to go to hardware, and we want to make sure that flex port here says DSM. If it's anything else, then you need to go ahead and pick DSM, and we're going to hit save. Now, when you do pick it, there's a number you're going to need in just a few minutes to set it in a binding mode. And this is where we're going to get the number from. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And we're going to hit save. Now we're going to go to System. We're going to go to Settings. And we go to HW settings, and we're going to go down to DSMX bind. This is where the number goes, number 5, and we're going to hit up here, save. Okay, now we're in the binding mode. We're going to go ahead and unplug the USB from the computer. And we're ready to plug our battery in. When you do, you'll see the quick flashing on the satellite receiver, and it means, of course, it's ready for binding. I've already set up a model, and it's set up as a plane in my transmitter. I'm using a DX8, and I'm gonna go ahead and go through the binding mode. So whichever transmitter you're using, however it binds up, you'll go through that mode now. Okay, we're getting a steady a steady light on our satellite receiver, and means it's bound up. Now that we've bound the transmitter, let's go ahead and we'll leave the battery plugged in, and we'll go ahead and connect it back to the computer. And we'll give it a few seconds to go ahead and, there we go. And we're going to go here to the number 5 we put in. We're going to go back to 0, and we're going to save that. If you don't, then it's going to, think it's still in the binding mode. So we put it back to 0. We're telling it we're not binding anymore. And then we're going to go back to our configuration. And we're going to continue on with our setup. Again, read through this acro, mode 2, that's what I'm flying with here. Okay, and it tells you, it wants you to move these sticks so it knows your transmitter. And now I'm using when I set up the model, I'm using my mode switch, our F mode switch for the different flight modes. So go ahead and move it. And then this right here is going to be my mix switch. And I'm just using that in case I want something else available switch-wise. And now I'm going to go ahead and skip that one. I don't need it. Skip that one. I don't need it. Skip that one. I don't need it. Okay, now here we're going to center up our throttle, and our mode switch, we're going to put it in the center. Hit next. And now it just wants you to go to all the way with either switch, with all the sticks and the switches. And just read it. It tells you it wants to go to the extremes, so it knows. Now, whenever you move your transmitter, it's going to take a little while before it moves on the computer screen, and that's just how it works, or just how it is for this. And I'm doing that now. Just take your time and go through it real good. It's slow. And then now I'm going to go all 4 corners with the switch. With the sticks, rather. Okay. And then now I'm going to do it with the switch, and you'll see it moving there. And I'm doing the same thing with my mix switch. Then hit next. Now it wants to know if everything's going the right way. Throttle. This is my yaw. It's opposite, so I just moved my stick to the left, and it's moving here to the right. So let's switch that, or reverse it. That's correct. Now I'm moving it right, and there it goes right. Pitch, I'm pulling down on the pitch. Of course, it's wrong. So now I'm pulling down on pitch, moving it all the way up. There we go. Roll, I'm going to the left. It's wrong also. So roll to the left, roll to the right. There we go. Then switches, we can go into the transmitter, switch those if we have to. Now here it just wants you to double check everything. You know, if you've done If you've watched my videos, I'm a big double checker. So it really does help. Left, right, everything's good there. Left, right roll, back pitch, forward pitch. Everything's matching my transmitter. So we're in good shape. Next, I'm gonna arm yaw right, just the way I do it. You could set up, here if you wanted to. Yaw right's the way I do it. And then now we have to hit save here. And you get the little check mark. It's done. Good stuff. Okay. So we've gone through everything. Now what we want to do is I want to check my mode switch. And this is, purely your preference. I run my mode switch away from me, and that's it there. In the middle is here. Toward me is here. So if you like that in reverse, just go into your transmitter. Now is a good time to go ahead and reverse that. And with my mix switch, that's toward me, and that's away from me. That's the way I normally do it. Again, you can go into a transmitter and reverse that if you so choose at this point. Now, here, if I move the mode switch, you'll see here, there, and there. It's picking those. For right now, I'm going to leave that like that. Leave this like this. Here, I'm going to go to Ratitude. And supposedly this is a mix between rate and attitude, which allows you to do flips. I'm fairly new with all this part with the CC3D. I fly a lot with the Nays and the NASA, of course, and the Pixhawk, and believe it or not, one of my favorites just for flying around is the KK board. But I'm fairly new at this, and I want to try this out. So I'm putting this on my number 3 here, and I'm going to try it with axis lock, and I'm going to try this one axis lock and this one with rate, and just kind of mess around with it and see how it does. Again, you want to save it. If you don't save it, it won't stick around. Okay, so that's working okay. Here, when I want to go ahead and check, I'm going to run my yaw left on my transmitter, and I'm looking again at the tri from the back to the front. So the swivel mount is facing, it's closest to me. When I go left on my transmitter, it's going left, and that's wrong. That needs to be reversed. So we're going to come in here. We're going to go ahead and reverse that. Now, if you check it here and you try it, it's going to continue doing the same thing. You have to save it for it to acknowledge that. So now if I move my transmitter to the left, my stick, on the yaw left, the swivel goes to the right. And that's exactly what we want. If I move yaw stick on the transmitter to the right, the swivel goes to the left. So we're in good shape there. You'll know this if you go out to fly it, ease it up a little bit. In fact, it won't even it usually doesn't even get off the ground. It's going to want to spin on you. Don't change it in the radio, believe it or not, it causes more problems. Just come back, plug it, take the props off, come back, plug it back in, go to this section right here and reverse it. You'll see that that's the best way to do it. Okay, we're going to continue moving down. We're good here. Stabilization. We're going to, with the QuadLugs 250 Mini Tri, you'll get some wiggle in the and the yaw with this particular board. So I'm going to go in here, and this takes most of it out. If you get in real windy conditions, it may act up again, but you can come back in here and adjust this to your liking. But this is a very good starting point to get the most of it out, and then you can fine tune it after that. 48 and 91. Okay, and then you can come back to this stabilization, and you can come to this area right here and adjust that if you need to, if it's still, you know, oscillating on you. And let's go ahead and save that. Okay, and we're going to leave this alone. There's tons of things you can do in here, and there's tons of great sites. I personally think one of the best is Painless 360. He goes through most every controller. He takes it from the very beginning, you know, talking about it, reviewing it, what it can do, what it can do, all the way through to pretty much putting every component you can put on it. And he does this for most all the controllers that I know of. Great guy, great channel. I use him a lot, and I refer him a lot. It's a really good channel if you have some extra time. Yeah, it's really, really good. You're gonna love that channel. So it's a good place to go back and, you know, learn about a lot of this. And again, you can spend a lot of time. What I'm giving you here will get you up and flying, and it'll fly really, really good like this. Now, can you tune it some more? Yes, you can, but you're on your own on that. I'm going to get you flying, and you're going to love it, and you can take it the next step. But that's about all we need to do. And it's telling me I'm taking too long. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect. We're in good shape here. I'm going to disconnect the battery, and we're done. So this is Danny with QuadLugs. Next time I see you, we're going to be flying this thing. It really does fly well. Okay, I connected it back. I wanted to show you a couple more pages. Of course, this here gives you orientation of your quad or tri. And there we go. And of course, your welcome page, and you can go through all this here, which is the same as this down here. So anyway, that's as far as we're going to carry it today. Like I said, next time you see me, we're going to be flying it.